Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today's video is a continuation from last week, and in this one we'll be working on how to make this pleated part of the dress. So hit the subscribe button below your screen and let's proceed. So guys, for this pleated skirt tutorial, the first thing you're going to need is your basic skirt pattern, and this is mine right here. So you're going to need the full front skirt pattern instead of like the half that we normally use like when you want to make a pattern. So you're going to need this full front skirt pattern. Now if you look at the picture, you would see that the skirt is a long skirt and my pattern is quite short. So I'm going to get a new piece of paper and then I'm going to place it below my old pattern just so that I can lengthen my pattern. So you can just like make your pattern, you can increase the length to whatever you want. If you want it as a full length skirt, you do that. If you want it as a midi skirt, you do that. So I'm just going to draw all of the lines and then I'm going to make sure they all extend to the new paper. And this is all of it. This is my new pattern all connected. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to convert this basic skirt pattern into an A-line skirt. So at the hem right there, I'm going to extend by 3 inches. You can do 3 or 2 inches. So 3 inches on both sides, and then I'm going to draw a line to connect those parts. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to connect that back to my hip level and connect back to my hip level right at the top. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to connect this all the way to my hip level. You blend it if there's a sharp edge, and then you'd connect also the other part to your hip level, and that's that all done. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to start drawing in my drape or slash lines. Now for the first drape or pleat line, I'm going to measure 2 inches down, and that's it right there. I'm going to make sure that line touches my second dart point right there, so you can see. Then I'm going to draw another 2 inches, and then I'll make sure this touches the second, that is the first dart leg. So I'm going to make sure that touches it, so you can see what I'm doing right there. So I'll just draw and then draw there. Now I'm going to draw a line from that point straight to the hem of my skirt, and then I'll do the same also. So I'm going to draw the next drape line, so 2 inches again. Now at the other end here, if I have 2 inches at the between the first and second drape line, I'm going to have 2 inches again between the second and third drape line. So I'll just keep increasing till I finish up all my drape lines. So these are all the pleats or drape lines complete. So now I'm just going to label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's pretty much it. So now I'm just going to trim off all of the excess paper that I don't need on my pattern. I'm going to trim all of them off. I'll trim off the one at the side, the one at the other side too, and also the top, that is the one at the waist line. So that's all I'm doing right now. Now for the back, all you really need is your A-line pattern. You don't really need to do so much. So just the way the pattern looks like right now, that's all you need for the back piece. So pretty much you don't need to do any drape or pleat lines or draw any drape or pleat lines on the back. So as it is now, that's all you'll be using for your back pattern. So now for the front, I'm going to start cutting out all my drape lines. Now for the first one, I'm going to cut one of my dart legs, and then I'll cut the first drape line all the way to my dart point. So now I'm going to close that dart point, and then my drape line, my dart space will now be transferred into my first drape line. So I'm just going to place a piece of paper underneath that just to cover up all of the spaces. So I'm trimming off that right now. Now I'm going to connect my dart line. That's my second dart line. I'm just going to blend it in as I'm doing right now. You can see that. So now I'm going to cut the second drape line. So I'm going to cut one leg of my second dart, and then I'm going to cut my second drape line all the way to my dart point as I'm doing now. Then I'm going to close my dart right the way I'm doing, and then that will now be transferred right there. So I'm just going to extend the cutting of the second drape line all the way to the end. Now I'm just going to open up my first drape line. I'm going to take out the paper that I attached earlier. I'm going to take it out. So you can see that I'm just taking that out, taking it all out. So you can just use the scissors to cut it off. So yeah, now I'm just going to cut my first drape line, I'm going to keep cutting all the way down. So you just cut all the way down. You do the same for the second one, do for the third one, and for the fourth, and then also for the fifth one. But I'm going to be starting with the first drape line. So now I'm going to pick a blank piece of paper, and then I'm going to start arranging my skirt pieces, that is the panel pieces, the labeled pieces. I'm going to start arranging them on the new piece of paper. So this is my first one. So I'm going to be taping that onto my blank piece of paper. Then I'm going to pick up my pattern, and then I'm going to cut out my second drape line. You can see that too. I'm just going to cut that all the way to the hem, and then I'm going to arrange that again onto my blank piece of paper. Now, just before I tape that to the paper, I'm going to pick up another blank piece of paper, and then I'm going to place that at the top right there, and I'm just going to tape it down just to like cover up all of the spaces that the first blank paper, that's the first paper, didn't cover. So I'm just going to place that right there and tape it down. Then I'm going to now arrange my second drape line, and then just like place it in a way that makes sense. So if you want the distance between the first and second one to be 3 inches, you just place it accordingly. So now I'm going to pick up my pattern, and then I'm going to cut out the third drape line. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to cut that out. So I'm cutting that out all the way to the hem. Then you place it again. So if you spread it up there by 3 inches, you know, you have to keep spreading all the way. So you spread the second also by 3 inches, and also spread the third by 3 inches. So I'm just going to tape that down, and then I'm going to cut out the next piece of my pattern, and then I'm going to place that again onto my pattern paper. So you can see it keeps increasing and it keeps graduating. That is the pleats, they keep like increasing and expanding. So I'm just going to tape that down. So now I'm going to pick up a new blank piece of paper rather, and then I'm going to place it at this open space at the side. So you would see that now. So I'm just going to place that right there and tape it down, just so that I can have like extra bits of paper to place my other slash lines, or pleat lines rather. So I don't know why I keep calling it drape lines. So you can call it drape or pleat lines. Either ways, you understand what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to pick up my pattern paper, and then I'm going to cut the next pleat line, and then you do the same for the next one, and for the next one, and for the next one, till you finish completing the whole thing. So I'm going to place another piece of paper at the edge right there, just so that I can have space for the fourth and the final one. That is the final pleat line, which is the fifth one. So just tape that down, and then place your pleats, that is your cutout panel. So let's just keep calling it panels, so I don't keep saying drape or pleat line. So you place your next panel, and then you tape that down, and then you cut out your next panel, and then you place that, and pretty much that's that for all of that. And now I'm placing the final one, which completes the whole spreading of my panels, so the whole spreading of my slashed line. So I'm going to tape that down, so you can see I've already taped it down, and that's pretty much all of it. So this is what your pattern is going to look like when you're done. So now I'm just going to pleat all of those parts, all of the parts now, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm pleating that and making sure that touches the other edge there. You can see that. So I'm just going to use my pen to just draw a line to connect that with each other. Then you pleat the next one, and then you use your pen to connect that, and then you do the same. Just keep pleating till you get to the final stop. Then you just like kind of just connect all of it. So you just connect all of the points together. So I'm just going to use my scissors right now to just trim out the excess bits of paper that I don't need. And yeah, that's that. So this is what your pattern is going to look like when you're done. And that's my full completed pattern right there. So the next thing you now need to do is to just cut this on your fabric, which I've done. I've already cut that on my fabric. Then you notch all of the points. So I'm going to notch all of my pleat lines. So I'm going to notch them all just so that when I'm ready to sew, I know where to pleat from and where to end. So yeah, that's that. So also remember to mark all of these points on your fabric just so you know where to stop your pleats when you're sewing. So I'm just going to place pins into that and just use a pencil to mark that on my fabric. So you can see all of those points right there. So you just need to mark them on your fabric just so that when you're sewing, you know where to stop your pleats when you're sewing. So pretty much, so I'm just going to keep doing all of that till I get to the final one, and then I'm going to mark that down. And that's all there is to it. So I'm just going to remove my pattern paper from my fabric now, and pretty much you can see all of those marks right there. So to start sewing your pleats, this is what you need to do. So I'm going to be using my pattern paper to illustrate the sewing just so that you can understand. So I'm going to go according to how I notched it. So for the first one, you can see that just pleat it over and then like come to the end and then use your pin to just hold it at the back right there. So that's that for the first one. For the second one, place the notched part onto the second notched part. So you understand what I mean? Place the second notch part onto the third notched part and then use your pin to just tape it down. So you see that one also, you pleat that way, you can see, and then you fold it in and then you turn to the back also, and then you just use your pin to hold it down. So when you're sewing, you're not using pins to hold it down, you'll be sewing the actual pleats at the back rather. So yeah, so you just keep going like that the same way till you get to the last one. So you can see how I'm doing that. So yeah, so just watch how I'm illustrating it, and then you go to the back and then you pin. So how I'm pinning it is how you're going to sew it. So I hope you got the drift of what I just explained. So you just keep going and keep going till you're done with everything. And when you're done, this is what your pattern should look like. So pretty much pin down the last, I'm just pinning down the last one. So yeah, that's that. So at the right side, look at what it looks like. So this is what your pattern should look like. So on my fabric, I'm also going to do that on my fabric so you can see what I'm doing exactly the way I showed you on the pattern. That is how I'm going to do that also on the fabric. So you just keep going and you keep going till you get to the final bit. So watch how I'm doing this. So that's the second one right there. I'm going to pleat that and then go to the back and use my pins to hold it down. So yeah, so this is what the pleats look like on my fabric when I finished completing the whole pleat. So you can see this is the back, you can see the back piece, and then that's it, the front piece. So yeah, pretty much that's that. So we are done, and this is what it's going to look like placed on my miniature mannequin. So you can see it, you can see the pleats and all of that. So that completes today's tutorial. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button below your screen. That's pretty important, guys. Tap the like button also so others can also see this video, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials when I post them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.